Negotiating is the easiest way to make the most money flipping cars. Because if you do it right, one smart meetup will save you thousands. I got this Sprinter van for over $10,000 under the asking price. And I've knocked at least $1,000 off every car I've bought in the last few years, getting up to 50% off the car's price. But here's the secret. Negotiation doesn't start when you show up. It starts the second you see the listing. So in this video, I'll break down the 3 stages of negotiation so you'll never overpay again. Stage 1 is messaging the seller. The first message matters the most as it's your first impression. They'll have other messages, so it's good to be the favorite person, look serious, and ask a question so it's easy for them to respond back. This alone will make them want to sell the car to you instead of someone else. The goal with this entire messaging stage is to move the conversation forward, while being friendly and using the least amount of messages. The sooner you meet, the less chance of someone else buying it. Less messages means less time waiting for them to message you back, and gets them to meet up with you sooner, which locks the seller in so they don't sell it to another person before you. To keep messages short, always answer any question they ask while asking another question so it's easy for them to respond back. But only ask deal-breaking questions. The rest can be asked in person, because the more they like you, the higher the chance you'll get a better deal from them. The number one do not do is write, "Hello, is this still available?" as your first message. I've talked to tons of sellers and most of them won't even respond to messages like this. They get dozens of them and 9 out of 10 times they won't even reply back. So have a unique first message to stand out. Instead of, "Hello, is this still available?" say something like, "Hey, I like the car and want to come check it out. Other than the dented fender, what else is wrong with it? Thanks." And if you don't already know, my name's Lucky7. I find, fix, and flip cars full time. Alright, let's quickly break this sentence down. Hey is starting friendly. I like the car is showing your interest. I want to come check it out is showing that you're serious. Other than the dented fender shows you looked over the listing. What else is wrong with it? We'll get a response from them, and it helps you understand the condition of the car. Then thanks is ending friendly. This all is keeping the message short so they don't get overwhelmed. Showing these traits makes you stand out from the rest of the people. It's always best to show that you took time to look at the listing by mentioning a problem in the photos or description. Me personally, I can't stand when I'm selling a car and someone asks something I already wrote in the description. So don't do that. And don't ask, "Is there anything wrong?" because they're more likely to answer with a no, even if there's issues. So say, "What else is wrong?" It's an open-ended question that makes the seller give more details instead of just a yes or a no answer. Even when I send this message, I've noticed many sellers don't seem like they care about selling their car, which is very odd to me. Often when I reach out about cars I'm interested, I get one-word responses or no reply at all. That's why it's important to frame your messages to get a response and keep the conversation moving forward. If they don't respond to your first message, just shoot another message over a couple hours later and keep sending them until they do. Once you've gotten a message back from them, make sure to get a Carfax. I've had many issues with cars that could have been avoided if I would have had one. It'll tell you any accidents it has, all its service records, and much more knowledge that you need to know before buying a car. I've bought cars that have been in multiple accidents, and I didn't even know until I bought a Carfax after the fact. I even bought one with a broken odometer that didn't have its true mileage on the car. Knowing if anything bad has happened to the car can be a great negotiation point too. Like if it hasn't had service in a year, you can point out that it's likely going to need something done. They're $45, which is well worth the information it'll give you, but I'll give you one for completely free. Just click the link in the description and I'll send one over on me. After your first message, ask any important questions you have about the car. Even if a car has problems, it's fine because when you show up, you just use them to negotiate a lower price to make it worth it for you. Keep everything simple and nice so you don't frustrate the seller. As a mad seller, it's a firm seller, not that type of firm. Alright, what I like to say after planning a meetup is, "Great, I'll be there at 2:30. And as long as we can agree on a price and the car is as you say it is, I'll buy it today." This is much better than asking if they have any wiggle room or are willing to negotiate. It's implying you're gonna negotiate without having to directly ask. Unlike most people who just throw out a low offer right away. It shows you're serious about showing up and buying, but still want a fair deal for the car. During messaging, look out for any misleading information or lies. There's a lot of it out there, and many times I'll see a problem with a car, like a seat rip. So I'll ask, "Is there any problems other than the dented fender?" And they'll say, "The fender is the only problem." But clearly there's a seat rip in the pictures that they aren't even mentioning. So you gotta be aware for things like that. And if it does happen, don't mention it to them until you're in person, as it's gonna help with negotiation in the next stage. Now, in your messages, if you act excited, it'll mislead the seller into thinking you're set on buying it for the price it's listed at, which obviously we want it for much cheaper. So don't shock them by offering a low price when you get there. Have it almost implied and subtly hint that you're gonna offer lower. And then they're more expecting it and likely to accept a lower price. When you've decided you want the car, Make meeting with them as soon as possible so you avoid other people buying it first. It'll show the buyer you're serious, and when you show up to negotiate, they'll understand your side more. But there's one time when I'll negotiate before seeing a car. That's when you're far away from them. If you plan on doing this, use the tricks I tell you in the next stage, but instead of in person, call them and do it over the phone so you don't end up driving over and having to turn around because they aren't flexible on the price. But only do this if you have to, because it has a less of a chance of getting the car for what you want. Now, if you do have to drive far, don't let the seller know. Just make sure they can meet at the agreed time and show up. If they know you're traveling far, they're gonna be more firm, knowing you're likely not gonna just turn around. The only time you should throw out low offers over text is when you're not really interested in the car. If I've looked at it and don't really want it, but I'd take it if it was cheap enough, I'll message them, wait for a response, and then throw out a lower offer as my last effort to potentially buy it, not really expecting anything from it. And don't be afraid of getting a no. When I do this, I expect them to say no, and I move on with my life. But every once in a while, you're gonna get a car like this. Just don't do what most people do and have your first message be, will you take 50% off the price? Going with this messaging process will make the seller more open to your low offer when you show up in person. So here's where stage 2 comes in. The inspection. This stage is even more important than the actual negotiation because it's essentially devaluing their car before offering a low price. Think of this part from the seller's perspective. They've likely had this car for years, they've fallen in love with it. When they first bought it, they paid much more than they'll be getting now. And they probably looked online for what it's worth and they just picked the highest priced one because that's what they want to sell it for. This means they're going into the sale expecting the car to be worth more than it really is. So while you're checking out the car, the goal is to show them that their car is worth less than what they listed it for. This is done through many ways, starting when you first pull up to their house. First of all, of course, be as nice as you can, introduce yourself, and shake their hand, since people give deals to people they like. Think of it like this. If you were selling a car to a best friend, you'd likely give them a better deal than a stranger. So just become the seller's friend. Now get straight to checking out the car, and almost right away I'll mention the car's a bit worse than it looked in the pictures. They already know this, but it shows that you're not happy with them, subtly making them think you're gonna negotiate with them since you don't like it. While you're looking over the exterior of the car, touch and stare at all the problems. Mention or ask about them so they know you see them and show that you're disappointed. This starts to get them in the negotiation mood. Like if I turn on red lights, you're gonna be in sexy mood. They'll start to realize that their perfect car isn't as good as they thought. When pointing out bigger problems, mention how much they're gonna cost to fix. Do your normal inspection going through the entire exterior, the interior, engine bay, and under the car, making sure to check everything because each problem you find is another negotiation point. The more negotiation points, the cheaper you can get the car for. If you can't find many more problems or just want more negotiation points, mention the high mileage or upcoming maintenance it might need. And when you're doing this, be talking to them like a friend as well. Talking about not just the car, but both of your lives. Asking about the car will help you find even more points in negotiation. But just so you know, you're essentially collecting these points and building them up, but not talking about the price until the final negotiation. Ask, why are you selling it? To see if they need to get rid of it quickly. Ask what else is wrong with it, to see if there's something you missed or if they're hiding something. Do you know what might be causing this problem? To see if they're being truthful or trying to downplay problems. How long have you had it for? To see if they're flipping it or if they're selling it quickly after they bought it. Maybe because it has a potential problem they're trying to hide? Does it have any maintenance records or has there been any recent work done to it? If it doesn't, that's another negotiation point. When you finally mention all the negotiation points, you can offer a lower price without it sounding like a lowball offer since you have a reason not wanting to pay full price. And use open-ended questions throughout while letting them talk without interrupting them. It's exactly what cops are taught to do when pulling someone over, because a lot of people will expose themselves and tell you more information that you otherwise wouldn't have known. Just like how we say, what other problems does the car have, instead of does the car have any other problems? It gives them a chance to talk more. And whatever you do, don't act excited about the car or they'll just assume you're gonna buy it at full price. You want them to think you don't even want the car, but you'll buy it if the price is right, which is much less than what it's listed for. Don't say that, just make them think it. Doing this, they're gonna be thinking about everyone else that's gonna show up and do the same thing you're doing, so they might as well sell it to you. All of this sets up the negotiation to the ideal spot for you when you bring it up. The conversation should be more about them trying to convince you to buy it, not you convincing them to sell it. If you wanna buy the car more than the seller wants to sell the car, you're in a bad position. Not just faking it, but actually meaning it. Ready to walk away if you don't get what you want. The easiest way to maintain this frame is by setting a firm price you'll never pay over, and you get it by basing it off their listing price, their responses to how you are talking, the car's true value, and what the problems are. Then if they ask why you're buying it, try not to mention you're a flipper or you're trying to get the car for a deal. It makes them feel like they're losing money and that you're trying to make money off them, which makes them defensive and thinking their car is worth more, being less likely to lower the price. In the end, all that matters is that they're fine with the price and you get the car. So try to make them fine with the lowest price possible. During all this, listen to how they respond and react. A lot of this is using judgment to read their tone and body language on what they think about what you're saying, and then use it to their advantage. But do know there's gonna be some people that are more firm on their price and others that are gonna be more open to your offer. If you mention that you like the car, always follow it with a, I like the car, but, and then mention something negative about it. When you're pointing out issues throughout the inspection, the best ones to point out are the ones that weren't listed in the description. The ones that were already listed have less negotiation power, since they already told you about them and they were already priced into the car. But the ones that weren't listed are a completely valid reason on why you'd want to pay less, since you didn't know about them when you were looking at the car and the price. You just have to ingrain it in their minds that you aren't as happy as you should be when looking over the car. But don't ever say your intentions outright. You have to word them correctly or they'll feel like they're losing out, which is not a good mindset to have them in. Nearing the end of the inspection, I'll set the seed in their mind that I'm getting ready to negotiate, saying I'm open to buying the car, but I'm not in the best condition, and I was looking at another car that was in better condition and lower miles for the similar price. But I do like their car, and I'd rather just pay a little less for this one to save some money. Keep in mind during all of this to hold off on saying any numbers until you're at the final negotiation, which I'll go over in just a second. When you're done looking over the car, take it for a test drive. Some sellers will want to come with you, while other sellers will just tell you to go alone. I always ask them to come with me, so I have more time to convince them that the car is worth less and build a personal relationship with them. Just priming them right there, like a medium rare steak for negotiation. On the drive, if I notice anything bad, I'll point them out just like the other issues. But if you drive alone, just make a list of everything you notice. When you get back, review all the issues you found with them and have all the other problems from earlier in your mind or on a list to use for negotiation. Finally, do one last walk around the car, touching and looking at the problems, acting disappointed. This once again shows the problems to the seller and gives them time to think about everything, making them reconsider the car's worth. Up to this point should be about 20 to 30 minutes since when you showed up, which gives them a little time investment into you, so they'll have a small friendship and not want to have to go through this with another person. Once again, giving you even more leverage for this final negotiation. Stage 3, the final negotiation. You've taken your last look around the car and you get in a stance. You like cross your arms, spread your legs, let out a deep sigh. Look at the car. It's funny because that's what I actually do. And I know a lot of you probably can relate. Here's where you start by saying something along the lines of, I do like the car, but it definitely has a lot of problems that weren't in the listing. When I saw it, I did think it was a fair price, but it's honestly going to cost more than I thought to fix up. So I wouldn't really be able to do the price you wanted for it. Wait for a response, and if they ask what you're offering, say, I mean, I want this to make sense for the both of us, but it's just too much for everything wrong with it. What would be the best you'll do for it? This way you can avoid offering a price before them. A common negotiation saying is he who says the number first loses. Let me explain. Let's say you listed a car for $5,000 and you offer $3,000. This means the middle point is $4,000. But if you get them to say a lower number than the $5,000 first, when you ask what they could do for it, if they say, fine, I could do it for $4,200. Now when you offer, you could say even lower than $3,000, but let's just say you say $3,000. The middle point is now $3,600, which is lower than if you were to say the offer first. Now, when you've asked and they said $4,200, you still shouldn't throw out an offer. Follow up with, honestly, I was hoping for less than that. For $4,200, I really wouldn't be able to buy it. Phrasing it that way makes it seem almost like you're just ready to walk away. So you kind of both get a little nervous. I'll be honest, it can be hard to do this as it's a bit scary thinking about what they're gonna say, but it's not the end of the world. Worst case, they say no and you could go back on your words. And they're nervous because it seems like you're not gonna buy it. But when you're both nervous, is the time where you can save the most money. So they just lowered the price $800 from what they originally wanted, but it's not like that's their actual bottom price. They obviously will go $100 lower, $200, $300, you get it? They'll go lower. After following up with that, listen to their response. They'll likely ask what you're offering. I'd say, it's just not the best car. I know I can get it fixed up, but by the time I do all that, I could have bought a nicer car for the same price. I think it makes sense for it to be a bit lower. What do you think you could do for me? Maybe they'll say, all right, I could do it for $3,800, but that's the lowest. Even with a price you're happy paying, start with an offer even lower to allow them to negotiate you up a little bit. It makes them feel good because they're getting to negotiate with you and they aren't losing out as much. To give your offer, start by mentioning the negotiation points and finally throw out an offer in a non-offensive way, with good reasoning why it should be that price. If you do it wrong and get them offended, your chances of getting the car at a low price drop. If you said $2,800, they might take it, but likely will say no. So after hearing what they have to say, ask if they can get closer to your price. From here, keep going back and forth until you find their bottom dollar they're willing to sell it for. After a few counter offers, let's say you're at $3,200 and they're at $3,400. Try to get it as close as you can to your number, not theirs. At the very end, when you're like, they're not gonna budge, just offer to split the difference and take it for $3,300. Even $50 matters, so go to the last step until they'll go no further. If with a few minutes of talking, you're saving $100, that's some serious return on your time. Here's 10 quick negotiation tips. Number 1. Your tone matters more than you think it would. Make sure it's coming from a I want both of us to be happy with what we agree on type of place, you know? Number 2, each person you do this with is gonna be completely different, so you'll have to get a feel of the specific seller and know how they work and how firm on the price they are. Number 3, if they bring it up, ask the seller why they think their car is worth more, as that's the chance to understand their reasoning and break it down for them. Most will say it's because Kelley Blue Book says so, or because they've seen similar cars listed higher online. That's when you explain that KBB isn't very accurate and that the cars they're comparing to are likely in better condition. Also remind them that the listing prices doesn't mean sold prices. Those are just what people want for it, not what buyers are actually paying. Then mention that you've checked similar cars with the same mileage and condition, and that they're selling for less than what the seller's asking. Throughout this, be backing up your offer with specific issues. Point out the repairs it needs, what it costs to fix, and how other buyers are going to see the same problems, making them want to negotiate as well. Explain it calmly so it sounds like you understand their price, but it's just not realistic. Number 4, use their reasons for selling to get it for a lower price. Maybe they just listed the car and have a lot of people interested. Maybe they don't want to sell the car for less money than they originally paid. Maybe their wife wants it gone immediately. Take their reasoning, tell them the opposite. Tell them why it's wrong. Number 5, make sure your offer's low enough. I've offered low prices I thought they were going to say no to, and then they immediately agree to it. It's the worst feeling knowing you could have gotten it for cheaper. Number 6, add in pauses at the right time. It lets the seller negotiate with themselves by your uncomfortable silences. You can use these when you make a counteroffer, acting like you're taking a moment to consider it, or whenever it feels right. Number 7, let them know that you'll look at other cars if you can't agree on a deal. It creates urgency for them to sell it to you now, because if they don't, you aren't going to buy it later. But if they don't accept your offer, just message them later saying you'll buy it for your offer, but you're planning to go buy another car soon, like the next day. That gives them a little window to decide and creates urgency without sounding like you're desperate for their car. Number 8, always pay with cash. Cash will make someone comfortable instead of being sketchy using some sort of online payment. But if they want some sort of payment, go with what they want. People are imagining what they're going to be doing with the cash once they get it, so they're willing to take a lower price to get their hands on that cash. Number 9, walk away if you have to. I've worked with several flippers, and it seems they get attached to some cars sometimes, and they just like it a little too much. And they're like, hey, I already invested a lot of time into looking at it, and they overprice it in their minds and justify why they should pay more for it. This is why it's good to have a max you're willing to pay, and learn to say no and be comfortable turning down a deal. Plus, many times as you're walking away, or after you've left, they'll ask you to come back and take the deal. With your maximum price, you should still be aiming to get it for even less. Number 10. During the negotiation, make it clear that you'll buy it as soon as they say yes to your offer. The negotiation has ended when you both agree on a fair price and confirm it with a handshake. The majority of negotiation tactics are when you're buying a car, but you also need to know how to negotiate when you're selling a car. So here's 8 quick tips on what to do when selling it. 1. Always move the buyer forward just like when buying. But here we're convincing them to buy our car over other cars they're looking at as quick as possible. So right when you get a message, answer it and follow up with something to get a response. Number 2, respond to everyone as if they're gonna buy your car. You'll get a lot of hello, is this still available messages. Even though it's likely not gonna go anywhere, it's worth it to take a few seconds to respond. I respond to this with, hey, yeah, it is. Do you have any questions? If you get lowballs, say, I have other people interested, but I'd be willing to work something out in person. I just wouldn't be able to do that low. Number 3, build a connection with them. If they ask questions, even if you've already answered them in the description, answer them nicely. But if they ask if you're negotiable, act like you're slightly firm, but you'll let up on the price a bit in person. Number 4, create competition by letting buyers know there are other interested people planning on coming to see the car. This encourages urgency and makes them more likely to act quickly while paying full price. Number 5, overcome objections. For example, if they say the mileage is high, that's why it's priced low, but it's in great condition, it's always been maintained. They'll move past it and lose interest, or they'll buy it. Either way, you're in control. Number 6, plan the meetup carefully. Do things like wash and detail the car before the buyer arrives. If it has any problems, tell them ahead of time so they don't show up and get disappointed. Plus, it reduces room for negotiation later on since you already told them. Plan meeting them on their schedule, whatever works for them, that's as soon as possible. And just make it work for you. Just let them know that if they take too long to come, there's other people that are likely gonna buy it. Number 7, show the car right. Be nice throughout the interaction, give a full walkthrough, show the car thoroughly, yes, even the problems, and leave no doubts. Let them take their time to inspect it and think about it. Buyers will buy what they feel confident about, not if you're just rushing them and hiding all these problems. Number 8, master the final negotiation. Know your bottom dollar, your take on it, based on how many messages you've got and what you listed it for. But aim to go as close to your asking price as possible. Allow a little negotiation if they want so they feel good, but don't take a lot off the price unless it's not selling. To make it seem like a deal, you can say it's priced well and in great condition. I do have a few people planning to come check it out if you don't end up getting it. And if an offer's too low, just sorry, that's too low, I can't do that. It's not complex. Whatever you do, just encourage them to buy it immediately. But do remember, negotiation is a skill, and all skills require practice. But learning it will save you thousands, literally on every car you buy and sell. But if you want to learn how to instantly flip more cars in less time, check out this video where I show you how to increase the speed of your flips. And as always, I'm wishing you a lucky day.